Hello and welcome to ComSpark Magazine interviews. I'm Dave Hammond with Parallel Technologies, and we're participating with ComSpark Magazine on a series of interviews. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Rich Wills from KMK Law. And so, Rich, thanks for taking time to meet with us today.
Sure, my pleasure, and I'm glad to be invited to be a part of these interview series.
So, Rich, you've been at KMK for some time now. Can you talk about the technology and how it's impacted the attorney's practice during your tenure, in the role really your team has played to assist, and more recently, how has COVID really impacted that?
Well, as you can imagine, over 24 years, I've seen a lot of change in technology that's available, first of all, and the way in which our attorneys utilize that technology. I mean, I've seen us go from running Windows 3.1.1 from a network share with a DOS workstation to, have a virtual data center. We have people that work remotely quite a bit, but it's really been a huge change and difficult to keep up with that technology. But I think, as we talked about before, how we really target the technology to keep our attorneys working efficiently, that's really driven what we've seen change and how we've seen people's work change in the way in which they use technology. It's been interesting to see several generations of lawyers come through our firm. There are lawyers here that have, are well into their 70s that are still practicing in part. And we have, every year recent law school graduates starting with us. So it really has been a huge spectrum of a user base that we have to cater to. We've seen the adoption of iPads quite heavily within our firm. We have seen the kinds of tools that our litigators use in discovery. We've gone from the time when someone would back up a tractor trailer and unload pallets of bankers boxes for people to go through and do their discovery, to having databases and using artificial intelligence to automatically code those documents as non-responsive or responsive or privileged. So it's been a massive change, but all for the good. The electronic discovery piece comes with its own problems because of the amount of data that is transferred to you and that you have to, protect and keep safe. But we flex with all those changes, and our team really has done a great job of staying on top of what specifically legal technology is available. We have long been a part of a peer-run organization called the International Legal Technology Association, which has an annual educational conference and a huge trade show. And that's really helped us keep up on top of what other firms are doing and what technology is available. It also has allowed us to collaborate with our counterparts in the legal industry and talk about what they're doing and how they're solving certain problems. It's a very interesting thing to sit in a board meeting with a bunch of attorneys that are saying, well, I don't really know what such and such a firm is doing in this regard. And I'll be able to say, well, I can tell you exactly what they're doing, because I get to know my counterparts in the city, and we're very friendly and very collaborative and always willing to help each other out in terms of ways in which we are adopting technology or solving certain problems. As it relates to COVID, our one office was accustomed to working in the office. We had very few road warriors. We had very few people that worked remotely other than weekends or evenings or when kids were sick, that kind of thing, to our entire office going remote for a period of time. And that was an interesting time for us. And it was good. We were generally prepared for that. We had some great partners that we work with that allowed us to scale our remote environment and really work successfully through the pandemic. We're also a firm that has been back in the office since June 2020. That's a surprise to a lot of people, but that's the way we work best. That said, people do realize that they can work remotely. And we now have a population of people that want the flexibility to be able to work remotely. And so we're adopting technology that will more closely align with that kind of a work philosophy and making that happen for them.
That's a great explanation. And you mentioned a couple of times the ability to adapt to new technology to make efficiencies and really make the best for KMK. So, with a limited staff there, I'm sure that's challenging, but you guys all seem to be doing the right things.
Well, we try to, and it's a tribute to our great partners as well. Those that host our data center and those that collaborate with us to help get things done. And so we depend on our partners greatly, and are thankful to have the trusted partners that we have. So it's important to us.
Yeah. Well, Rich, thanks for joining us today. Please visit comspark.tech for additional interviews.
Thanks, David. I really appreciate having the opportunity, and it's been a great conversation. And so thanks for having me.